Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Hey, it's your boy JC. The New York Jets just managed to humiliate themselves before even playing the game. Find out on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
HSS Florida presents ESPN West Palm's High School Game Day, supported by Smith, Ball, Baez, and Prather. We're headed to the playoffs, where the Atlantic Eagles open up their postseason run. Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Also presented by Kaiser University, Land Rover Palm Beach, Duffy Sports Grill, Shaw Sports Turf, South Florida Ford, Bud's Chicken and Seafood, and the Boca Raton Bowl.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Happy weekend, everybody. A Friday edition of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. November the 15th. Turkey season entering towards the latter half of the month. Thanksgiving is on its way. Who's excited? I know I am. Hi, everybody. Colin Russo here. Joined alongside me, Mike Rizzo, with Damian Perez back behind the glass, helping us out in the ones and twos. We're going to go to you earlier than we would if C-Cat was here. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. The Eagles won in an ugly game yesterday over the Commanders. They shift now to 8-2, while the Commanders suffered their fourth loss of the season. Mark your calendars. Gear up for game day, because this Sunday, November 17th, join Bud Light and the ESPN West Palm Street team at Hurricane Alley in Boynton Beach. That's Hurricane Alley. Catch all your football action with us from 1 to 3 p.m. Showcase those football skills for a chance to win some prizes. Enjoy $2 Bud Light drafts and $3 neutrals while you cheer on your favorite teams. Must be 21 or older to participate. Southern Eagle reminds you to please drink responsibly. Heads up for that coming up this Sunday. We alluded to it yesterday. For some reason, we had an irrational amount of confidence in the Commanders by taking them in our punchline picks. We took them +4. They played well for the most part. Then they didn't get that fourth down conversion, and all hell broke loose. And now all of a sudden I'm worried that the Commanders are starting to hit a wall here.
Yeah, probably should have kicked the field goal there. And a huge fourth quarter was the reason for Philadelphia. 20 points in that fourth quarter, scoring 20 of their 26. And Jalen Hurts having a sneaky, really good year. Sneaky, really good year. On the year, he has 23 touchdowns, 11 of them rushing, 12 of them passing to 5 interceptions. So
he's a complete merchant with the Saquon getting knocked down at the 1 yard line, and then he steals them. But yeah, he's playing complimentary football.
He's playing good, and I think we saw last night the experience of the Eagles. I thought this was a bigger game for the Eagles heading into this game to reestablish their dominance in the division, and that's exactly what they did. And fair play to them, because good teams finish games, and that's exactly what they did in that fourth quarter. What did you think of Daniels last night? I thought he was a bit. I think timid's the wrong word, but I thought he had to have a big night with his legs. Now, I know Brian Robinson Jr. had the touchdown, and they gave him the ball 16 times. I thought he would have had to make them pay, the Eagles pay on the ground in order to win this game, but I guess the word is timid. I thought he looked a little timid, and I thought he looked a little out of sorts.
Well, there's a couple ways to look at it. Number one is he's definitely not 100% healthy, and that is not necessarily an excuse because he says no limitations, but that rib injury is definitely nagging him. So that's number one. Number two, threw 32 passes, 24 of them within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. So Cliff Kingsbury, I understand that's the kind of their way. Keep it short around the line of scrimmage, screens here and there. But the Eagles knew they were going to keep everything in front of them. That's exactly what they did. That's why that offense lagged a little bit, other than one drive earlier in the first half. For them, this has now been a couple weeks now where Daniels hasn't been outstanding. He hasn't been that, 350-yard quarterback that, people are kind of making him out to be. I'm not going to say he's hitting a wall because ultimately he played close enough to a good game. But there's definitely some cause for concern. You mentioned the experience. Dan Quinn going for it, down 12-10 when he had every chance to kick a field goal, had a bad botched play for that fourth down stop, completely killed the game. The second they didn't get that game was over.
Yeah.
That game was completely over. You're on the road. You're playing in a hostile environment with a rookie quarterback and a relatively inexperienced roster, inexperienced coaching staff that hasn't coached together consistently on the road in primetime. And I understand the idea of aggression, but when points are hard to come by all night long, take the points. And I understand that wind was a little weird with Elliott and nobody knew what the kicking was going on. Take the points. It killed the game. It's a tough spot. It's a tricky situation to put your rookie quarterback in when you kind of demoralize that whole sideline by not getting that fourth down. They score, go right down the field. All of a sudden, that's a really tricky spot to put your rookie quarterback, and to try to get him to respond after that, that's a tricky spot that Dan Quinn put Jaden Daniels in last night. It was almost a Sirianni move, and ultimately it killed them. The second they didn't get that fourth down conversion, that game was complete over. Now, I have a real problem. You got to take your points there. At a certain point, these guys get way too cute. Not everybody needs to have the Dan Campbell method of projecting themselves on fourth down. You don't need to do that. Take your points. Points are impossible to come by in a game like that yesterday. Oh, God, I had a problem with that.
Surprised me that Dan Quinn would do something like that. Now, I said the experience of the Eagles I thought was the reason they won the game, but Quinn is a head coach. So I kind of see why people would fault me for saying that, because Quinn has been in situations like this. He coached in a Super Bowl. Now, granted, it was one of the greatest comebacks in NFL history, but I'm right there with you. Why put your rookie quarterback in a situation like that? And now you're on the outside looking in the division. The Eagles reestablish a dominance at 8-2. They move on to 4-1 at home. And if you're the Commanders now, you're reeling a bit. You're reeling in the sense of you should have lost that. It's what we talked about yesterday. You should have lost that Chicago game, and now you've lost your last two. So I think they got to respond in a big way. Thank God it's a long week for them coming up. And if you're Philadelphia, you have the whole season in front of you. You start to think, all right, maybe that 1 seed isn't too far out of our grasp if we continue to play good football. The Lions have to lose, and they look invincible at this point in the NFC. But being only a game behind, all of a sudden, a lot is opened up for Philadelphia, Colin.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Lions don't have they have a tricky schedule in the latter half of the year, so they just really need to catch up by a game. But yeah, you're right. The Eagles probably looked like that most formidable opponent to the Lions, most complete. That defense is really starting to click with those rookie defensive backs in DeJean and Mitchell. That team, in terms of talent, it's just so undeniable how loaded they are at every facet. They have a good offensive line. They have a good running game. They have good receivers. They have a capable tight end. They have a good quarterback. All 3 levels of the defense, loaded. It should be no surprise to anybody how successful they have been, because they just, in terms of talent and roster construction, it's as good as it gets. And they're starting to show it a little bit. Sirianni, are we starting to underrate the guy a little bit?
He didn't make the goof that we all thought he was going to last night. He wasn't the quote-unquote reason they lost the game. If I could argue, he had a pretty good fourth quarter, no?
It was handed to him. But yeah, with the
fourth down
and the interception.
Yeah, sure.
He's 42-19 in his career. 42-19.
I like that you brought that up, because so many people were quick to put him to bed when they were 2-2, especially even after the Browns game, when they won that game and he was screaming at fans in the stands. Should we have a double standard for Sirianni? Should we be giving him his flowers as media members? I mean, I didn't see, the talking heads talking about how great of a game Sirianni put on. It was more or less what we just talked about. The Commanders gave the game away and the Eagles took advantage of it, but Sirianni has his team winning 6 games in a row.
I wouldn't say they gave the game away, but they missed 3 field goals. He's so erratic in his decision-making. Some weeks he's not going to the kicker at all. Some weeks, some days like yesterday, where he's going to Elliott 3 times in the first half and he goes 0 for 3. So an uncharacteristic game from Elliott. It seems like maybe he's got the yips, maybe it was some weather, whatever you want to chalk it up as. But Sirianni's underrated. He drives me crazy, and he drove me crazy in that Jacksonville game especially. But in terms of product and getting the most out of the team, not a lot of guys who have succeeded as much as he does. And he's got a Super Bowl appearance under his belt as well. I think there's some cause for concern on the other side of things in terms of whether you want Quinn to be that coach of the year. That's a rough look yesterday in that Eagle game. You cannot go for it on fourth down there. Take your points. Completely deflated that entire Commander team. I couldn't get over that.
They're still in a good situation when it comes to the wild card. You don't want things to spiral out of control.
Well, that's the thing. That's what you're nervous about now.
Yeah.
Are they going to hit this skid? We talked about it yesterday. This skid, is this going to compile? Is Daniels going to hit a bit of a wall here? They're not as good offensively as they were 4 weeks ago. Cliff Kingsbury is notoriously an offensive play caller who is in a first half of the season success. And then the second the book's out on him and the quick game and the dual threat young quarterback, does this sound familiar?
Yeah. Now that I think about it, can I let me hashtag retract my statement, because the Vikings are 7-2, the Packers are 6-3, and all of a sudden there are two good teams in the NFC West, and the Cardinals and San Francisco. San Francisco's got, we talked to Mike Tannenbaum earlier in the week. He was waxing poetically about the 49ers, how they got a bunch of guys back, including Christian McCaffrey. So I think if you're a Commander fan, maybe you'd be a little nervous just because how good the NFC North is and how some of these NFC West teams are coming out of nowhere. Because my best guess is the playoffs is either I think it's going to be the Vikings and the Packers, and then pick your choice out of these three, Colin, for the last spot. Commanders, San Francisco, and Arizona.
Well, the way I look at it is you need 10 wins. You get to 10 wins, 7-4. You get to 10, you're probably okay. You probably get into the postseason. And they have the Cowboys twice. They have the Falcons, Eagles, Saints, and Titans. I could come up with at least 2 wins easy there, and then you split against the Cowboys and maybe even split against the Eagles.
Yeah, and
Commanders are in decent shape.
And now that you say that, if they can't get 3 wins out of that schedule, they don't even deserve to be there in the first
Especially
place.
with the Cowboys falling off a cliff
with
here.
Cooper Rush at quarterback.
So off of that, you need 10 wins. So I'm not worried about them in the playoffs, but I'm worried about in terms of the actual product and the success that they're seeing. Kingsbury has been figured out before. That is the reason he was out at Arizona. It immediately succeeded with Murray when he was the head coach at Arizona, and they did that quick, fast-moving offense, twitchy, side to side, utilized speed, and then it got figured out a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, he does this, not the same thing, but close with the Commanders. Is the book out on that offense a little bit? Keep everything in front of you.
It helped getting Brian Robinson Jr. back, some sort of rush game. I thought he played well enough. But I mentioned, man, timid. Timid is the way, Gene. And I almost threw for 200 yards, had a touchdown and a pick in the game. But
He plays safe.
Looked really timid.
Plays safe. And whether that's safe to a fault is another discussion. But he plays safe. He doesn't want to lose the game. Doesn't always, you don't know how much he's playing to actually go out and win the game. But maybe he's trying to lean into that complementary nature of being a quarterback and don't lose the game.
The game wasn't on the level that I thought it would be. Like last Thursday was arguably one of the games of the year. I talked about this with CCAT this morning. I don't want to say I felt underwhelmed on the game.
It was an ugly game.
But it wasn't. It wasn't the game I thought it was. It was. How about this? It wasn't the game I thought was going to appease my football appetite on a Thursday.
And there's no discussion about that. It's the offenses didn't get going, and when they did, it was consecutive on the Eagles side of things. There's a couple interesting plays early in that second half, and then other than that, it kind of got out of hand. So I agree with you. It wasn't necessarily a big-time game, and I think the Commanders have a little bit of a cause for concern here on whether this book is out. Mm-hmm. You're going to need to – the adjustment is out. Now it's time to adjust to the adjustment. That separates the good versus the great teams. How do you – you could always blitz teams from the start and surprise everybody. Now all of a sudden the adjustment's out. We know how to play you. How are you going to adjust to the adjustment? That is what determines a good coaching staff and a good offense mostly. The defense I thought played fairly well. He kind of rolled over and died after that fourth down conversion because they were on the field the whole game.
Right. And 20 points in that fourth quarter. A lot of it had to do with going for it, but a lot of it also had to do
And Barkley
with
wears you down.
Yep, and 26 carries. I was just going to mention that 26 carries for over $140 with that incredible pylon touchdown run. I mean, it's what they do. And then Jalen Hurts, finding his way into the end zone as well.
Yeah, Barkley is one of the few players in the National Football League that is a wear you down type of player, where if you don't catch him as fast as you are in the first quarter versus the fourth quarter, he's going to make you pay. Yeah. Derrick Henry's cut from the same cloth.
And this
McCaffrey is as well.
This was kind of a tight ends fest, right? I mean, Zach Ertz had a lot of catches. Dallas Goedert had a lot of catches. How about this? The star receivers in the game. Brown, decent enough night, 5 receptions for 65 yards. But Devontae Smith, only 4 for 29. And how about Terry McLaurin? 1 catch last night.
Yeah, that's Quinyon Mitchell.
Former Buckeye, 1 catch for 10 yards last night. So
that's Quinyon Mitchell right there.
And also, you mentioned the side-to-side offense with Kingsbury. You see it right here. Eckler, 8 receptions for 89 yards. He was the leading receiver.
Yeah, got to throw it down the field. The Eagles dared you. They just keep everything in front of us. Dared you to make a play down the field. You didn't. So that
is this the end, Kyle? Your best guess, is this the end of the Commanders?
Whoa, dude, no.
This year?
What?
Do you think it's going to spiral and go out of sorts?
What? No. I'm saying there's a cause for concern. I
think it could be.
I can't make any sort of declaration that this team is done. We just went through the schedule. They're going to make the playoffs.
Are you sure? With San Francisco and
all right, who are they going to lose to? Who are they going to lose to?
Listen.
Are they going to lose to the Cowboys twice? Are they going to lose to the Titans and the Saints?
You've indirectly maybe convinced me that the book is out a little bit on this team.
They play the Cowboys twice,
some games
the Eagles again, the Falcons, Saints, and Titans. Are they losing? Are they losing every single one of those games?
I'm looking at San Francisco. I'm looking at Arizona. I'm looking at those two teams. If they keep winning games, what's going to happen? And you don't want to count San Francisco out.
That has nothing to do with Arizona. I mean, that has nothing to do with the Commanders at this point because they have the game leads. We're talking about who they're going to play.
Okay. What I'm saying is I might buy stock into them. Maybe
I would
not
understand if they had a
head-to-head,
head-to-head, but they don't have a head-to-head. They're not playing each other, and they already beat the Cardinals. So they have the head-to-head over them, and they have the game leads over them.
But say Arizona wins the division, the Commanders continue this spiral, lose a couple of games that they're supposed to win, and then San Francisco gets hot. That's all I'm saying. They could be in trouble.
San Francisco is 2 games behind. They still have the Packers on the schedule. They still have the Bills on the schedule. They still have the Rams again. They have the Lions on the schedule, and they have the Cardinals.
I just wouldn't count out Shanahan in San Francisco, though.
I don't think you're understanding that they're 7-4. They have a 2-game lead on that and an easy schedule at that. They need to win 10 games to get into the postseason, likely. So, are they out? Can I declare after a Thursday night loss where they didn't play that well that they are out on the year? No, I think that's a little premature.
Okay, that's fair. But last night didn't really convince me otherwise that they're going to turn it around. The schedule plays to their favor. I hope they don't play down to their opponents. How about that?
I mean, yeah. I would agree with that. But in terms of favorability, they've put themselves in a position where they can afford a couple losses here. Now, with the last place schedule they have and a couple easy ones up ahead, their random game was the Titans. That was the random AFC game with the schedule expansion. This is a very, very doable schedule. You got a lot of teams that are banged up and battered and heading towards the lottery on that schedule. The Commanders are in just fine.
What's up with these schedules and having all of the division opponents at the end of the year, too? Like, I understand a lot of the times maybe that does happen, but, I mean, the Bears haven't even played a division game yet. And then
because they want these games to have more meaning in the playoff races.
And now the Commanders, like you said, play the Cowboys twice and the Eagles. That's 3 division matchups to end the year. Yeah. Pretty crazy.
It depends on the AFC North. The NFC North is where they really screwed that up, and they just kind of backloaded the whole thing. But what the schedule makers want to do is they want to make big games for the holiday season. And the way to get big games and we're going to have some sort of playoff implication is when you have these divisional matchups against relatively in the mix teams towards the end of the year where playoff scope is now in sight. That's the take on that. That's Thursday Night Football. Last night, 18-26. The Eagles took it over the Commanders at home on Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. They lowered the crowd noise in that game, and it was a disaster. Oh, my God. Let the crowd noise play, Michaels. Jeez, old man Michaels in the booth. But we continue the conversation on Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Stick around.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen for the accident attorneys, Anajar and Levine. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Did you get injured on the job? Workers' comp problems? My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine, they will fight for you. Remember, they do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation you know you deserve. Here's what you do. You just call. Call Anajar and Levine for your absolutely free consultation. Do not settle for just any attorneys. Demand Anajar and Levine, and demand the Anajar and Levine difference. It takes just one phone call to begin to take back control of your life. So do that. Take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-FREE. 1-800-747-3733. Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Improve your golf game fast at the all-new Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center has the facilities, tools, and coaching you need. Enjoy the best facilities in the area with an expansive chipping and putting area, practice bunkers, a huge putting green, plus a 2,000 square foot indoor training area with 3 hitting bays, cutting-edge analysis technology, and more. The Kaiser University Golf Coaching Center in the heart of Palm Beach County off I-95 and the Turnpike. Find out more at kaisergolfcenter.com.
Tired of being sidelined by a sports injury? Get back in the game with Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Whether you're a professional athlete or even a weekend warrior, you can get back to doing what you love with our compassionate orthopedic team. Experience a new level of care and get back to your best. Welcome to being treated like a pro. Make an appointment today at baptisthealth.net/ortho or call 833-556-6764.
Sports fans, it's the best time of the year. It's fall when everything is happening. Football's back. Fighting gets real. Baseball playoffs. Get ahead of the action. Plan your time now to be at Twin Peaks, the ultimate guys lodge, the ultimate sports lodge. Never ever recover to watch any fights, any MMA, UFC, or boxing pay-per-views. Always watch for free. Of course, the eats, the drinks, the signature scenic views, and of course, Twin Peaks 29-degree ice-cold beer made from scratch favorites like their burgers, wings, mozzarella bites, and so much more. Happy hour weekdays. Take advantage of $5 man-sized drafts. And remember, never ever pay a cover to watch any of the fights. Your official UFC fight headquarters is your official football headquarters all week long, all season long. Eats, drinks, scenic views, 29-degree beers. Twin Peaks, the ultimate guys lodge for everything sports.
Kane is in the building.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
It's boxing season, for those who care. Jake Paul and Mike Tyson. Wow. Never thought I'd say those words in one sentence. Fighting tonight in a boxing bout in Dallas, Texas at AT&T Stadium. That's tonight. It's a Netflix-streamed live event. This is a big reflection on the state of boxing. We'll get into that after this quick message. Mike's got to tell you about what's going on with Yingling on Sunday.
Folks, join Yingling and the ESPN West Palm Street team this Sunday from 3 to 5 at Tin Roof in Delray for Miami and Vegas, and the highly anticipated Buffalo versus Kansas City. So, folks, we have the Dolphins versus the Raiders, and then the Bills versus the Chiefs. You could watch that while enjoying Yingling specials and prizes. Get some Yingling swag as well. It's the Yingling on ESPN this Sunday from 3 to 5 for 2 games at Tin Roof in Delray, 8 East Atlantic Ave. Folks, that is 8 East Atlantic Ave, Tin Roof in Delray. Got to be 21 plus, presented by Yingling, America's oldest brewery. Please drink responsibly. But, folks, once again, our street team and ESPN West Palm are going to be at Tin Roof for these games. The Dolphins versus the Raiders and the highly anticipated Bills versus the Chiefs. Enjoy it with Yingling.
It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. That was Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, of course, Damian Perez behind the glass on this. We'll get through this quickly because I want to breeze through this part. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul are fighting tonight. and it's a Netflix live boxing event. Starts at 8 o'clock, which means in boxing hours, that will start around 3 in the morning. Mike Tyson's 58 years old and had a career in which he fought like 70 times. 20 years retired, well out of his prime athletically, fighting a former influencer turned boxer, Jake Paul. You want to talk about a sport that has lost its sincerity? It's lost its sincerity, it's lost its intensity, and it's lost ultimately its juice.
I don't blame
boxing.
I don't blame these two. I blame the state of the sport. Like, the only reason we're talking about boxing today is because of Jake Paul. The Paul brothers, I've told you this before, they're from Cleveland. The Logan, roomed with a couple of my buddies at OU. He went there for a semester at McKinnon Hall, believe it or not. So I try to give the Paul brothers the benefit of the doubt. I know that a lot of people don't like them.
Oh, they're master marketers.
They've always done well by me, and I think they're good kids. But I don't blame Tyson or Jake for this. Make your money, bro. Make your money. If people are going to watch this, go ahead, man. Who am I to sit here and be all high and mighty and say, this is disgracing the sport of boxing? Whatever, man. Go for it. If it's going to give some highlight to the sport of boxing, I'm all for it. Colin, my dad tells me, and I'm sure your father probably does the same thing with you, he tells me the glory days of boxing. He tells me the glory days of Tyson and Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali. My grandfather was the ringside announcer for Muhammad Ali's fight at the Richfield Coliseum, I believe back in the 70s or the 80s. Like, boxing was a huge deal.
1 billion people watched the Rumble in the Jungle with Ali and Foreman in 1974.
Colin, huge deal for me and the family. And it's UFC now. It's not even boxing anymore. It's UFC now.
I love boxing history. I think it's fascinating. I think some of the biggest sporting events in American history and world history, there's a good chunk of them that are boxing events. So it's funny you say that make your money.
Oh, I knew this was coming.
Who cares?
I knew this was coming.
You want to talk about somebody who's a phony? I'll give you an example. Because about 20 minutes ago, Mike Rizzo was talking about how the Savannah Bananas, the baseball team that travels around the country. Hold on.
They're an absolute disgrace.
Travels around the country, selling out ballparks, selling them out, standing room only. Ballparks around the country, they dance, they play music, they play fun games.
They twerk.
The crowds are involved.
Umps are twerking.
And they're not just like regular guys off the street. These guys are baseball players turned entertainers. It's a lot of fun. And it's nothing to do with baseball, and it ultimately popularizes and commercializes baseball a little bit. Mike Rizzo sat here and told us how it was a giant mockery to the sport. But then, 20 minutes later, after a disgrace where a 60-year-old is fighting a 30-year-old, influencer fighting a retired boxer who probably physically is not even prepared, juiced up to the bone, boxing on a Netflix-only event. Apparently, that's all good because you're just making your money, but the Savannah Bananas are a bunch of frauds, and it's a mockery to the sport. I think how do you explain the discrepancy
this
there?
night that boxing is having with these two gentlemen will probably make more money that league has made in, 2 years?
But that league makes more money per game than the MLB does. How about that?
No way.
Yes, it does.
Savannah Bananas.
Yes, they sell.
Twerking,
they sell,
ringing people
They don't
up.
make money. They don't have 162
it's
games.
Just not my
but
cup of
game
tea.
per game, they make more money because they sell it out. They sell an incredible amount of merchandise.
It's not my cup of tea.
But you can't say it's a mockery.
It's a mockery. It's a mockery.
So how is that a mockery? But Jake Paul, Mike Tyson isn't.
Because this is a former heavyweight fighter in Mike Tyson, and everyone likes Jake Paul.
So everybody likes Jake Paul and a former 58-year-old boxer.
And they're gonna make.
Dude, you're lost here. You're lost here.
They're making millions of dollars in one night.
So are the Savannah Bananas. So are the Savannah Bananas. So there's a price to it. There's a price to the mockery. That's what you're saying. There's a price where it's mockery versus not.
It's different when you could tell me to get off my high horse all you want. It's different because it's baseball. They're disgracing the game.
Why is it different because it's baseball? Why is it different because it's baseball?
At least these guys are acting like it's a real boxing match, and they're going to put on the gloves and they're going to go a couple of rounds.
Isn't that make it more phony?
Colin, you just told me a night.
Doesn't that make it more phony? The fact that they know and they're trying to act like this is a big time boxing match comparatively to the Savannah Bananas, who understand their brand and understand the market that they're trying to reach. Wouldn't that be less fraudulent because they actually know their clientele and what they're trying to entertain with, comparatively to these two acting like they're heavyweight battle of the world, Rumble in the Jungle, fight of the century, 1971, Frazier Ali. That's what they're acting like.
This is Tyson, Colin.
He's
one
50,
of the most,
Mike,
one of the most iconic fighters in the world.
There's no argument there. He's 58 years old. He's 58 years old.
What's the fight?
Your whole argument was the money side of it. The fraudulence. You're all over the place with the contradictions. You can't have one side be a mockery and the other side go get your bag.
My response to that is it's different because it's baseball.
Why is it different because it's baseball?
Baseball's sacred. It's America's game. And
it's sacred. It's historical. Boxing. Joe Louis, back before World War I, was the biggest athlete in the world. Joe Louis in 1939 fought Max Schmeling in Nazi Germany when, at the rise of the Nazi powers, one of the biggest American sporting events of all time. Joe Louis, a black heavyweight champion from the United States, going to Nazi Germany to fight Max Schmeling, who was a German, but the Nazis made him a big propaganda sign. Fought him, two heavyweight champions at the rise of Nazi Germany. I think it was actually in Madison Square Garden. One of the biggest events of the world, and 1 billion people watched it. 1 billion people watched Muhammad Ali fight George Foreman in Zaire, Africa, which is currently the Republic of the Congo. 1 billion people watched that, and it was in the middle of the night. Thrilla Manila, when Muhammad Ali fought Joe Frazier for the third time. Went 14 rounds, one of the great matches of all time. Outdoors, 110 degrees inside that boxing ring. Went 15 rounds.
But boxing's dead, Kyle. Baseball isn't. That's why it's a mockery.
You're talking about being sacred. I just gave you examples of some of the most important American history events from the sporting perspective. Muhammad Ali was a bigger and more iconic figure in American sports history than 100% of baseball players. Muhammad Ali is a bigger sports figure than any baseball player that has ever lived, without a doubt. And you're talking about the sacred nature and the sincerity,
rebuttal,
just because the Savannah Bananas, which has no connection to the MLB, other than the fact that they sell out their ballparks comparatively to these two phonies acting like they're heavyweight champions of the world, fighting in a football stadium, at a Netflix event, no pay-per-view, trying to act like it's a primetime event with the weigh-ins and the whole thing, and act like Tyson still has it. When on top of that, it's 2 rounds. It's 8 rounds of 2-minute rounds. It's 2-minute rounds comparatively to 3, and they're fighting with heavier gloves, so they're not as much on the head. So the fact that the Savannah Bananas, because you're acting like this is a real boxing match, they're fighting less time per round, they're fighting less rounds total, they're fighting with heavier gloves, not the standard issue, and I'm giving you examples here, Mike. There's no sense the fact that one side is not a mockery and the other side isn't.
The reason I don't think the boxing match is a mockery is no one watches boxing. This is, if anything, it's giving light to the sport, no?
Well, I agree. There's nothing.
If anything,
I agree.
it's helping.
Boxing is hurt. And the fact that boxing is hurt is the only publicized events being these events is a major problem. I completely agree.
Maybe I am in the, it seems like a lot of people like this event. Say if I have kids.
Unfortunately, people are going to be watching this event. I agree with that.
If I have kids, I'm taking them to a Guardian game, not to a Savannah Banana game. I want them to watch a real MLB baseball game and not a game where an ump is twerking when he rings somebody up.
I'm sure there's numbers here, but the Savannah Bananas with kids are out of this world. The amount of family, it's the family event. That's the whole sell. It's families. I understand because you don't like it. But to call the whole thing a mockery when it's a great business model and it's expanding, and on top of that,
are these games televised? Are they televised?
Yes, they're on ESPN. Yes, and people watch it.
Seriously?
Yes, it's on ESPN, primetime.
I'm gonna have to look at those ratings, man.
Maybe, and if it compares to anything in the MLB regular season, I guarantee it's better. I guarantee it does better than a random
Sunday night baseball game.
Random. I guarantee it does better.
Acting like
Mike Tyson, Jake Paul with big gloves, short rounds.
I told you why.
A 58-year-old fighting a 30-year-old, acting like it's these guys are sacred sport of boxing.
Spotlight to the sport, man. No one watches.
And what are the Savannah Bananas doing?
People are watching baseball.
Not as much as you think.
We did great numbers, Colin.
Hold on. The only reason they did great numbers is because they had the perfect storm in terms of matchup. You're talking about how great the actual numbers have been. Historically, I agree. Baseball at its best does a great number. Consistently, it does not, and you know that too. You know that. talking about bringing light, shedding light to the sport. You want to talk about, I'd flip it. Tyson and Paul make more of a mockery to it. Comparatively to a league that doesn't even affiliate with the sport? No way. No way.
I just think with the name of Mike Tyson, him revolutionizing.
There's former MLB players that are on the Savannah Bananas and play in those, entertainment-sided games. There's MLB players that are involved with that. Just because Mike Tyson is doing it for a
serious.
cash grab?
I guess maybe I am wrong on this guy. I'm sorry. I cannot take that serious, and maybe we shouldn't be taking this boxing match serious. But I got to bet. I'd rather watch an old and washed-up Mike Tyson fight Jake Paul, as horrible as that is, than watch a Savannah Banana baseball game.
That's fine.
I'd rather watch that boxing match.
But hold on. I don't have a problem if you don't like it or not. I have a problem with you calling one side a mockery and not using the same line of argument, the same line
I call
of
the other
logic
side sad.
on the other side.
How about this? I call the other side sad.
I call the Mike Tyson side making a 60-year-old come out of retirement and fight a 30-year-old influencer with shortened rounds and heavier gloves. I call that sad. I don't call the fact that they sell out ballparks and make it a fun, family-friendly event that has nothing to do with you and it doesn't necessarily bother you. It shouldn't bother you because they sell out everything they do. They have national TV deals, and in terms of merchandising, they sell out better than some MLB teams. The fact that it's not sad, if anything, it's the opposite. It's joyous. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be fun, funny.
I'm gonna get you a hat for Christmas.
Fine.
I'm gonna get some. I'm gonna get Colin some swag.
And you're proving their point.
I'm gonna get Colin some swag,
and you're
baby.
proving their point by giving them money.
Are they coming to town anytime soon? We going to a game?
I don't like your line of logic. It's inconsistent.
It's okay. That's fine.
Inconsistent.
You can call me a phony. I'll
you
accept
are a phony.
it.
This is a fraudulent conversation.
I'll accept it. I call that fight sad, and I'm still gonna watch. And I called the Savannah Banana a mockery. I'd rather watch the Guardians.
You'd rather watch your favorite baseball team than Savannah Bananas. I agree with you. I'd rather watch my favorite baseball team.
And you called me phony for this before the show, too. I grew up in a city that had Major League Baseball. I grew up going to Major League Baseball games. I don't need to see the Savannah Bananas and then an umpire twerking when he rings somebody up. That's ridiculous.
Fine.
Ridiculous.
Fine.
At least these guys, Colin might be short in runs. At least these guys are going to beat the crap out of each other tonight.
No, they're not.
No?
No, they're going to tie it up every chance they
get. Is this fixed?
It's going to be drawn out. It's probably fixed.
That's what I was about to ask. All right, fine. You think I'm a phony? All right, that's fine. Is it fixed? Is this stuff fixed tonight?
Probably. They're not going to let that match end after one round. Both sides know that. We're trying to sell tickets.
I wonder.
Netflix is paying a fortune for this event. You don't think those producers are going in their ear a little bit? Do not end this early.
What was the last big? Let's try.
Mayweather Pacquiao.
Okay, I agree with that.
Or maybe Fury Wilder too.
I agree with that. I was interested to see if you were going to say McGregor and Mayweather because of that
began this whole charade.
It did, and that's where I was going next. I'm happy you said it. I could argue that fight completely ruined boxing. So.
It had a lot to do with it. I don't disagree with that. That Mayweather-Pacquiao fight was bad, too, because it was a poor fight. It was not a good fight. They were tied up every 5 seconds, and Mayweather was post-prime. Matt Pacquiao was way post-prime, and he dodged him for years.
Should have been 10 years ago, that fight.
And it did terrific numbers, but the boxing match was not that good. I wish boxing was as big as it was in the 60s and the 70s and the 80s, because it was the ultimate. Where were you when this match happened? Even in the 90s, even to early Tyson, even to that.
Where are you at with the UFC? Because I respect the UFC. A lot of my buddies live and breathe it, Colin. I went to a UFC fight in Chicago a couple of years back with my uncle and cousin, but, brother, I just can't get into it.
Well, here's the thing with the UFC.
It's just not my thing.
UFC saw a gaping hole of combat, pay-per-view, actual star-tier sport. They saw the big gaping hole that the boxing left, and they're trying to fill it up as best they can.
And they have
a smart business model. They're not as big as boxing. They'll probably never be as big as boxing. But in terms of creating storylines, getting all the fighters in there, they don't pay them properly, but they know how to create a story. They know how to sell, a rivalry. They know how to do that.
They have a big fight. What, tomorrow?
Yes, John Jones is fighting Stipe Miocic, and I don't even get into the UFC all that much. But
Cleveland
that's
guy.
A big match. John Jones is probably the greatest pound-for-pound, combat martial artist that has fought professionally in the world.
Is that Bones Jones?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So Bones Jones and Stipe, love it.
So he's killed. Yeah.
I'll
that
watch
to
it.
me has a little bit more interest, despite both of them being older.
And obviously the hometown side for me definitely doesn't. Former heavyweight champion in Stipe, but I maybe I am a disgrace to say this, but I will watch that fight tonight when I get home from high school coverage. Sadly.
I'll tune in out of curiosity, but I'm expecting something completely.
What numbers are we going to do here, Kyle? On Netflix, on a streaming platform?
Netflix,
People are going to tune in for this?
Netflix comes out and says that their random Christmas movie that I've never heard of had 250 million minutes watched.
All right, so we can't take it serious.
I cannot take especially how they do ratings. Netflix comes up with their own numbers. They're going to come out with something saying that 25 million people tuned in, and that's not going to be the case. All right, that's I don't know. I agree. I'd be curious to see, which is why the pay-per-view was a little better for that. You could actually get a sense. But with Netflix, I think they're just going to inflate everything. So that's just my take there. The Pittsburgh Pirates came out, said that they're going to release a limited edition 1-of-1 card of Paul Skeens, a debut card. They got a list of things, awards. It's basically a Willy Wonka, your golden ticket. They're releasing it, and forever who gets it is going to get a slew of things, including season tickets to the Pirates behind home plate for 30 years. Amongst a bunch of other things. I want to know, if you get that card, do you sell it or do you trade it in? 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. We'll take a quick timeout, answer that question next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's your boy JC. The New York Jets just managed to humiliate themselves before even playing the game. Find out on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Evan Cohen here. I'll get your day started on Unsportsmanlike with Canty and Michelle. And if that doesn't confuse you enough, Theo Dorsey will it too. Only on ESPN 106.3.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy and founder of Wesley Financial Group. And I want to set the record straight. I am not an attorney. I've never wanted to be an attorney. And the truth is, I really don't even like attorneys. If I sound like an attorney or if I look like an attorney, I'll apologize. But what I've learned in my 15 years in the timeshare cancellation business is you don't need to be an attorney to get folks out of their timeshare. At Wesley, we've helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshare without me being an attorney. And I want to share with you how we do it. Just give my office a call, and you will not talk to an attorney. And I guarantee if we take you as a client, we'll get you out of your timeshare, or you'll pay nothing.
Call now for your free timeshare exit info kit. 800-277-3355. That's 800-277-3355. 800-277-3355.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Join Yingling and ESPN West Palm this Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. at Tin Roof Del Rey for Miami and Vegas and the highly anticipated Buffalo versus Kansas City matchup. Enjoy Yingling specials, and the ESPN West Palm Street team will be on hand with tailgating games, prizes, and Yingling swag. It's Yingling and ESPN this Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. for 2 games at Tin Roof Del Rey, 8 East Atlantic Avenue. Must be 21 plus. Presented by Yingling, America's oldest brewery. Please drink responsibly.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? If you're the victim of a car crash, you will always speak to a lawyer. You'll always get the highest standard of care from our dedicated legal team, and we'll always fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. That's the Anajar and Levine difference. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Don't wait. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slbt.com. That's slbt.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Damian Press helping us out behind the glass at the City Place Studios right here in downtown West Palm Beach. The 15th of November, a Friday edition. 888-760-3776. The number to get into the program. That's 888-760-3776. We go to New Jersey. Cologne in New Jersey. You're on Russo and Rizzo. Cologne, what's on your mind?
Hey, guys. How you doing today, guys?
Good. What's going on?
Buddy.
On this Mike Tyson fight, listen, I used to be a big Mike Tyson fan back in the 90s, he was must-watch TV. So I'm going to watch it for the fun of it. But this fight, to me, obviously, it's a joke, and like you said, it's probably rigged and all that. But if this was a real fight, we saw this 30 years ago when Michael Moore fought George Foreman. Michael Moore was 26 years old, and Foreman was 45.
Yeah, Foreman never knew when to retire.
Yes. But in that fight, Michael Moore, outboxed him for the whole 10 rounds, and it was winning by a lot and everything. And in the 10th round, when he obviously went exchange blows, that's when he got knocked out. So my point being is, if this was a real fight, then Mike Tyson will win just by Jake Paul will be Mike Tyson just by outboxing him and not getting anywhere. So I'm hoping for a fun fight, and I hope maybe you see them exchange blows left and right.
Yeah, I appreciate the call,
Thanks,
Cologne. Yeah, he's hoping for a fun fight. I mean, for the fun aspect of it, yeah, that's a different conversation. But from an actual boxing authenticity, I can't get into it. I understand the age discrepancy, and people like Foreman and Ali never knew when to retire, and they kept coming back, and then all of a sudden, taking these headshots. It was never the same fights. It's in the prime is what matters. But that's another story, another day. Jake Paul fighting Mike Tyson tonight on Netflix. It starts at 8. I don't know if there's going to be 1,100 undercards, and that fight won't start until a couple hours into tomorrow. Or hopefully, it's off and running by the time 10 o'clock hits Eastern time. But we will see. The Pittsburgh Pirates have released a official Paul Skeens debut card that is signed, and it's a one-of-one card. So the Pirates came out, which is very cool. Not enough teams do something like this where they kind of fan engagement, the whole thing. They went out and basically launched the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Wait, what'd you say? You said Charlie and the Chocolate Factory? So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Right. They release a ticket like that, and they're saying there's one out there. I don't know if it's exclusive to a region or not, but if you get it, here is what the Pirates are offering. It says our offer, too. It's not necessarily a reward. I don't know if this is negotiable or what. 2 Pirates season tickets behind home plate for the next 30 years. 3-0. And you get a softball game for 30 people at PNC Park. You get coaching for Pirates alumni. So you get to actually have a full-on softball game with all your buddies. And you get a spring training experience that includes a private tour of Pirate City and Lecom Park, which I assume is their minor league ballpark. You get a meet and greet with Skeens himself. You get 2 autographed jerseys. You get to take batting practice and warm up with the team, and other unique experiences at Pirate City down in their spring training spot in Bradenton, I believe. So you get that, and then also Paul Skeens' famous girlfriend, who's a Olympic gymnast, or an LSU gymnast, Livy Dunn. It's not a terrible looking thing. She's an attractive person, so let's just call it like we see it. Not the worst thing to look at in the world, I understand.
Right.
But she came out and said she'll add to this offer, and if you get this card, you also get to sit with her at a game. Now, the question I want to pose, 888-760-3776, is if you were to get this card, would you sell it or would you trade it in for this reward?
No.
888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. Mike, what's your answer?
My question to you is, is this card going to have any value because you have to turn it in? That's
a good question. So I assume that you could probably, it depends on what the Pirates do.
Right.
Let's assume that the Pirates will still grant it if you were to sell it and somebody else wanted to trade it in.
Okay. I'm selling it. I'm going to try to make as much money as possible. Now, there is the argument that with the season tickets you get,
it's like passive income.
Right. You could make that. That's why I started with the question I started with, because like, what kind of figure would we be talking about?
Right. How much stock do you put into that card?
But at the same time, you can make money from all of the season tickets you're going to get. You said for 30 years behind home plate.
3-0.
Wow, dude.
And on top of that,
that's a lifetime, damn near a lifetime.
And people like to value these types of cards. The fact that everybody knows this is a one-of-one card gives itself face value despite the trade-in.
Yep.
People want a one-of-one collector's item type of card, so that adds to the price tag.
And think of it this way. What if this card never gets turned in and it just keeps getting passed around by other owners and how long is this deal valid for, Mr. Wonka?
Right.
How long can we sit on our golden ticket here?
And it says an offer. I wonder if you had that card, if you could negotiate. Because I think I'd trade this in. I think this is a great deal. I'd turn into a Pirates fan. You'd have to. You'd have no choice. You get behind home plate, or you get the ultimate passive income and get to sell, 80 Pirate games, the best seat in the house for the foreseeable future, especially if they're good. I think I'd trade it in, but I wonder if you could negotiate something. Be like, let's sign bats more, just add to the total, because it's nothing to the team.
Mm-hmm.
Give me like a plaque in the dugout. Give me one of those, something like that. So I wonder, Damien, I want to loop you into the conversation. Damien Perez helping us out behind the glass today. Are you selling this card, or are you going to trade this card in if you get this Paul Skeens debut card?
What I was thinking over here is, if they're offering what they're offering, then they know the value of this card. Maybe I should just sell it. If that's what it's valued at, if they're offering 2 years of season tickets,
it's a decent point because they like to lowball the fan here.
They probably
did that with the Ohtani ball, which sold for so much more than they offered it in stadium. But I know it's a little different. It's a piece of history, but I understand, yeah.
They have an idea of what the value of that card is, and they know very well. And I think it's higher than what they're offering, so I think I would sell it.
But wouldn't you say that the value of the card is because the Pirates created that value? It's not like it's a piece of history. The Pirates just came out and said, we're going to create a card, and now this card is going to be sought after in a one-of-one collector's item. It's almost like they set the value themselves. They set how important they think it's supposed to be, right?
Absolutely.
So I'm curious to see whoever gets it, how they handle it. I think I'd trade this in.
You'd take the deal?
I
don't know how much it's. And then
you don't know.
That's why I asked, man. Like, you gotta know, like, if this is something people would even want. In a perfect world, if someone
is the ultimate Pirate fan gonna want something like this?
In a perfect world, all right. In a perfect world, it gets passed around, right? Like, we're not going to turn this in, and we're going to turn it into a huge thing, and we're going to shoot the price of this card up. I don't see that happening because of what you said right there. Like, the Pirates made this a thing. It's not like someone ripped this open and found a limited edition in a pack.
Right. They just came out and showed a picture of it and like, hey, this is now sought after.
This wasn't released in a Topps pack or an Upper Deck or whatever, No Names Please card company. So I don't know. If I found it, I think I'd sit on it for a little bit and see what would happen. See what people would offer me. Maybe put it out there on social media like, hey, I found this,
Because with this also comes social media notoriety.
Right. And also, are we going to find some fakes? Is this going to be an instance in Willy Wonka where you had a fake and Charlie actually found the last one?
Right. So
the schnozberries taste like schnozberries. I've loved that movie.
Yeah, it's good. And they had the old one and then the one with Johnny Depp.
Listen, it's the old one or bust, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm not. Are you a fan of the newer one? Listen, Johnny Depp, great actor.
I didn't hate it.
I love Johnny Depp, but brother, it's the original or bust.
I don't know why more teams don't do stuff like this. This little Willy Wonka, go find this treasure type of thing, where they could afford to give out stuff like this. It's fun. It promotes the ultimate amount of fan engagement, and they're getting a ton of buzz off of this. Now, if this was your favorite team, let's pose this question. It's not the Pirates. If this was your favorite team and they were releasing something like this, let's assume it's basically the same deal, but it's with your favorite team. You trading it in, you selling it. Damien?
Trading it in.
At
that point, I'm trading it in.
I don't know what to do. I'd probably trade it in to have 30 years of season ticket for the family.
Right.
I get 30 years of a Rizzo sitting behind home plate sounds fantastic.
Right.
Agreed?
Right. It's also like what you get out of it, too.
Right.
Like, you get acclimated with the team. You get to see all that. They start to know you.
But what happens when we find out this thing's worth $15 million?
How much?
Then we're the biggest idiots on the planet.
Another thing that I'll say to that is how much do you put on 30 years worth of season tickets on selling? If the Pirates become great and enter some sort of dynasty where they're winning 100 games a year for 5 or so years, you could sell half of those. That's 40 behind home plate games a year if you go to half the games. That's 40 games a year behind home plate that you could sell for a couple-year period. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
That's thousands of dollars a game. So off of that alone,
you still would have free income no matter what.
You'd have passive income. So, and that's if you wanted to go to game. You could sell all 80. If those go for $1,000 a ticket, and they probably, if they're any good, they'd probably go for a little higher than that.
Now, Colin, this is interesting for you. Would you do this for your team moving to Las Vegas?
If it was in that,
I think I would.
If it was in the Oakland A's Coliseum, I don't know. I would not do it in the
But
Oakland
in
A's.
Vegas, Colin, I know you've never been, but man, Sin City. You ever been, Damien?
The thing is, you'd have to.
You've never been to Vegas,
I have
Steve.
not.
Oh,
not yet. At
Neither
least.
have I. You'd have
Boys trip.
I would trade that in because you'd have the tickets in your back pocket, and that type of Las Vegas, you got a lot of money going through there. You'd make a good buck just for pulling a card. So I don't think you're losing money at the table. You're making money anyway.
Let's put it this way: you sell your tickets behind home plate at Las Vegas, and then you go have a weekend. Maybe get a room at the Circa, go to the Bellagio.
Or you could sell every other game, and then when you finally get to Vegas, you could actually go to said game because you have the tickets.
Right. Get a table at Encore Beach Club. What a time, Colin.
Is that good?
Oh my God. Wow. And I'm sober, proudly sober, still had a blast.
Wow.
Still had a blast.
You could sit through something like that sober?
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, after hour number 4, I was ready to go.
You're right.
But it was fun. It was so much fun. Can't even lie.
Interesting.
We're going.
You planning on going to Vegas anytime soon, Damien?
Let's do it, man. I would love it. Sign me up.
I had an opportunity to go to Vegas my senior year. I said no.
Wow.
Well,
there was a trip that I literally set up, and I did not go. And all my buddies went.
Well, yeah. This was from your time in college, right?
Correct. And I was working. It was the Wisconsin-Iowa game. I was working. I didn't need to go to Vegas. I didn't need to spend that type of money. All right.
Wisconsin-Iowa, man. That's the matchup everyone wanted on a
and
Saturday.
it was a god-awful game, but I was working. So I was working around the game. I was doing a show. So I'm like, yeah, you know.
Priorities.
Yeah, you know.
Priorities. I don't need to spend $1,000 losing all my. I know,
yeah.
and I had free airfare and I had free hotel, but I had to pay for other stuff.
Well, yeah, and
that catches up to you. Don't act like I missed out on some weekend of a lifetime.
What was, if you don't mind me asking, what was the fun situation? What would
you had 6 total events.
Well, let me rephrase. What was the budget you were going to bring to Vegas? How much money did you plan on bringing to Vegas?
You know what? I don't even know.
Okay.
I didn't even put that together. I think I was at the point.
It didn't even get that far.
Because I feel like you can't even set aside a budget. You don't even know until you get there. Vegas, all of a sudden, you go get a water, and you're $30 in the
Correct.
hole.
I found that out the hard way. We were at, I think it was Planet, whatever. We were at a No Names Please place, and Zed was playing. And my cousin and I were looking for a water. I look at the barkeep. I go, hey, can I get a water? He goes, yeah, $8. I'm like, I'll just do the cup, sir. He goes, we don't do that. He goes, you got to pay for water. I looked at him. I said, I'm pretty sure that's illegal. I said, I'm pretty sure it is illegal not to hand out water in a facility. But regardless, I paid $8 for a Fiji the size of my finger.
Wow. Yeah.
At least it was Fiji.
And it was the size of my finger.
Are you taking the card? Are you taking the money? Are you going to sell it if you get this Paul Skeens debut card from the Pirates? Or do you want to be a 30-year season ticket holder? 2 tickets a game behind home plate. I think I'd go with the tickets regardless of the team.
Even the whole Vegas thing, Colin would. Yeah, I agree. We got to. I hope Colin finds it. Go to Vegas. Oh wait, this is the Pirates.
Okay. Pirates.
Okay.
We got
to go to Vegas, man.
Maybe. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3, presented in part by our pals over at Flagstick Golf Performance, the ultimate indoor golf experience in Boynton Beach. It just opened. Flagstick Golf Performance. It's a unique facility featuring 3 indoor simulators and a state-of-the-art putting studio. It's tour-inspired build shop. So if you want to go in and get your club shaped, you want to get them measured, you want to get new heads, you want to get new grips, they're the type of guys that can not only set you up with what you need, but also can give you some tips on actually your golf game itself. I've been going all week working with my pal Andy, and we've been working on my wedge game. I'm catching up. I'm not there yet, but this golf thing.
You were hitting the gap wedges, right, Kyle?
It was like a 58 is what it was. So it wasn't necessarily a gap wedge. But I'm getting my feeling. I'm not a golf guy, and I want to get into it because, my family has some golfers, and they golf without me, and they're open about it, and they don't want to invite me because nobody likes playing with somebody that's new to golf. So I got to make sure I could show it to them now that we're in Palm Beach County and basically the golf capital of the United States. But Flagstick Golf Performance is where you go. You take lessons from PGA professionals. You can get fit for new clubs, play on the simulators. It's an optimal environment to leverage the technology and all the data insights you can imagine. It gives you backspin. It gives you club head space. It gives you the distance. It gives you every type of course you could possibly play on. It's located in Boynton Beach. Flagstick offers memberships and daily access for all. Go visit their importance or find all the in person or find all the info you need at flagstickgolfperformance.com. We shift to Lake Worth. The phone lines are open, 888-760-3776. Kevin in Lake Worth, you're on Russo Rizzo. What's on your mind, Kev?
So, yeah, I have a couple of different counter offers for the Pirates if I was to win this.
Okay.
First one is, can we turn the 30 years of Pirates tickets into like 10 or 15 years worth of Steelers tickets? Because I feel like I would get a little better bargain there.
Kev, they're all the same colors, right?
Offer.
They're all black and gold. Who would know?
That's actually a decent
and
idea.
And the stadiums are all right next to each other. I'm sure they know
It's not the same ownership group, which is one thing, but it's a decent thought. I don't know why. I don't know how the Pirates would feel if you walked in with that card saying, "Oh, I love Paul Skeens." By the way, I don't need to go to any games. Can I get some Steelers tickets instead? I don't know how they respond to that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm probably saving them a pretty penny on that. So, and then the other offer was, it's great to go to the games, but how about you throw some drinks and some beverages into the package here?
Okay, so
I can really enjoy myself.
Booze, Kev.
That's that's another good idea. Some of these ballparks have an all-you-could-eat, not all-you-could-drink, but I believe all-you-could-eat. I know, like the Legends Club at Yankee Stadium. I know the Nationals have one. I know the Phillies have one at Citizens Bank. So, that, I don't know if Pittsburgh has that. I've never been to that park, PNC, but that's another good one. What's another one?
Because you are correct in that they actually looked pretty good, the Pirates. So they could become a pretty good team. But the other one I had, do you move to Pittsburgh if you get these tickets? So where you can do go to half the games, sell half the games, and I don't know. Do you move to Pittsburgh if you cash this in?
Well, Kevin, what about your job?
I mean, I can move my job. I can transfer to different offices, but
we have a Pittsburgh office.
Issue,
Kev, we have a Pittsburgh office on the Allegheny.
Give me a nice Pittsburgh office.
You want them to build you an office? I see.
Yeah. I'll work for the Pirates. How about that? If they need a...
That's another good one. Give me a job.
Give me a job. Yeah, give me a job.
That's another good one. Kevin, coming with the ideas today.
Yeah. I'm glad I could help, guys.
Yeah, hang on, Kev. You ever been to Vegas?
No. I was supposed to go to Vegas.
What are we doing?
I was supposed to go to Vegas in 2020 to go see the NFL draft.
Oh, God.
Because the Dolphins had all those picks, but you know what? Maybe it was a blessing in disguise that I didn't get to see them choose Tua, Austin Jackson, and Noah Igbenogany in person. So maybe God was just helping us out with canceling that trip in 2020.
Yeah, how about that? Good call, Kevin.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. I think that the job is interesting. I don't think you need to pack your bags and go to Pittsburgh if you get this Paul Skeens ticket. But if you have any counter offers, if you know whether you'd sell it or you'd keep it, let us know. 888-760-3776, the number to get into the program. We want to know if you get this Paul Skeens debut rookie card, a one-of-one that the Pirates are offering 30 years of season tickets in exchange for. Are you taking it? Are you selling it? Are you giving a counter offer? 888-760-3776. We continue the program, do a little 5 and 5 next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Theo here. EDS is yes. You've heard me say that over and over. So I need you to keep this website in mind too. EDSIsYes.com. For the most trusted AC specialist here in Palm Beach County, EDSIsYes.com. For 24/7 support, EDS is a trained comfort specialist. It's hard to stop a train. There are so many reasons why EDS is yes when it comes to your air conditioning and plumbing. EDSIsYes.com. That's EDSIsYes.com.
At the Home Depot, we know you can't control everything, like when your guests arrive too early for Saturday college football. But you can control your grill. With the Traeger Timberline XL, you can watch the game, not the grill. Monitor your football feast from anywhere using the Traeger app. With the Timberline XL, you can bake, smoke, sear, fry, and sauté. That's Desmond Howard level versatility.
Huddle up, the food's done.
Defend your game time with Traeger and the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Cozy up with your favorite sweet treats at DQ Grill & Chill. Featuring the blizzard of the month, Oreo Fudge Brownie. It's the perfect treat for anyone who likes the sound of an Oreo crunch paired with soft brownies and rich cocoa fudge. Plus, come get a delicious frozen hot chocolate made with fresh cocoa fudge and vanilla soft serve to keep you warm when the temperatures go down. And Parmesan garlic chicken strips are back at DQ Grill & Chill with 2 locations, 4828 Lake Worth Road and US 1 just south of North Lake.
Business owners, are your employees driving you nuts? Is money tight? Or have you just poured your heart and soul into your business and now it's time to retire and just relax? At Transworld Business Advisors, they have buyers from all over the world ready to buy your business now. Call for a confidential conversation about your business's current value. 561-203-5121. That's 561-203-5121 or visit tworld.com today.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 1063.
WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
ESPN West Palm is highlighting the best performance of the week, presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Every week, a different team will be featured across ESPN 1063 and ESPN West Palm Play. The winning performance receives $500, courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Do you know a team, player, or school with a killer performance? Nominate them by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Go where the pros go.
Hey, it's Josh Cohen. When you need auto repair, honesty and reliability are everything. Trust the home for honest, reliable service since 1970. St. Lucie Battery and Tire. St. Lucie Battery and Tire has all the tire and battery brands in stock for cars, trucks, RVs, marine, power sports, golf carts, everything. Major and minor service repairs, free tire pressure, battery checks. St. Lucie Battery and Tire, over 50 years in our community. And now with 18 full-service locations, West Palm to the Treasure Coast. Go to slpt.com. That's slpt.com.
Time now for a PNC pause. PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. See how they can make a difference for you at PNC.com.
Hurricane fans, the final game of the season is here. Join us on November 23rd at Hard Rock Stadium as the Hurricanes take on the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest. It's Senior Day, a day to honor the incredible players who have given their all to the U. Let's give them a send-off they'll never forget and fill the stadium with Hurricanes pride. Don't miss out. Get your tickets today by visiting MiamiHurricanes.com or by calling 1-800-GO-CANES.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
Every Friday is a Friday day on ESPN 1063, served by Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Bud's uses better quality ingredients for better food and the best value. Visit any of Bud's Chicken and Seafood's 6 locations or go online now at budschicken.com.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Ball into the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy! Light him up, Colin!
Halfway through November on a Russo and Rizzo, a Friday edition. Colin Russo here, Mike Rizzo, Gaming Prez, of course, behind the glass. It's beard season, November 15th, halfway through No Shave November. I am taking part for the 9th annual YLS No Shave November fundraising event. This event was created not only to bring more awareness for men's cancer issues, but also to raise money for the Cancer Alliance of Help and Hope, an amazing local nonprofit organization right here in Palm Beach County. Of course, it began on November 1st, ends with a live shave-off happy hour event on December 3rd from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at iBar at PGA National. I will be there. We will be doing the show there live. I'll be shaving my beard in front of everybody there. If you want to donate, of course, it's for a good cause. It directly goes to cancer patients in the Palm Beach County area, and it's helping to raise research and raise help for those suffering from cancer on the men's side of things. In Palm Beach County. If you'd like to donate on my behalf, I would be very appreciative. Text MEN9, 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 MEN9 to 71777. That's MEN9 to 71777. It'll take you right to my fundraising page. If you'd like to, I'd be very appreciative. If not, no big deal. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. The NBA, Shams Charania, I've released an article that the NBA is now in serious talks about a tournament-style All-Star game. The All-Star game, which of course has been under major scrutiny because it's not competitive and nobody cares about it, and it just doesn't have the juice that it used to. What they are proposing in deep discussions about is how there will be 4 teams, including 3 teams made up of 8 of the All-Stars and the Rising Stars Championship team, which is another game in All-Star Weekend. The 4 teams would face each other in the matchups, Team 1 versus Team 3, Team 2 versus Team 4, and the winners move on to the final round of the tournament. So the problem with the All-Star game was they couldn't motivate these guys to play in an All-Star game. Now let's add games and make it less guys on the floor. I mean, it's a creative way to expand it, but the All-Star game has been a major problem. I can't see that being some big operation that's going to breathe some life into it. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think, obviously, the NBA All-Star is bad, but all the other sports are too. Baseball is a disgrace now. And the NFL, do they even do anything? I think they do skill competitions now. They binned the Pro Bowl. So wanted to get that out of the way first. The NBA is not the only thing struggling with this. Colin, did you watch last year's NBA All-Star game?
No.
It was the worst thing I've ever watched in my entire life. Absolute disgrace. Absolute mockery. Guys pulling up from half court every other possession.
Yeah, it's not fun.
My former co-host, Jim Matson in Peoria of Peoria Sports Radio, put it as best as I could. I feel bad that people actually spent money on that garbage. That's how bad it was. And listen, this sounds like a fun idea, but what's the incentive to get these players to care? Remember with baseball, and in baseball, I think the teams should wear their own jerseys, but I understand the MLB wants to make a ton of money on jerseys and then the All-Star jerseys. Fine. I think the players should wear their own jerseys. And I'm interested to see where you're at on this. I liked when they played for home field in the World Series. They played for something. It made the game fun. If this is the NBA's way...
Everybody loved it at the game, and then they hated it when they got to the end of it, and all of a sudden there's a team with not a lot of All-Stars or wasn't healthy for the game, and all of a sudden they get killed because they lost the All-Star game. So there's 2 sides to it.
It made it fun, and you saw the competitive juices in it because you want to get that home field for your respectable league. On the other hand, with the NBA, Colin, why would these guys, if they're not trying in the game, why would they try in this? That's what I would ask Silver. What's going to incentivize, I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, what's going to incentivize these guys to play?
Yeah, and other thing, you want to give a bunch of millionaires a couple $100,000 if that's going to convince them to get out of bed. The All-Star Weekend seems like a chore to the NBA guys.
It does.
So I don't know what making it a tournament format is going to that much improve. Damien, what's your thoughts on this and the NBA kind of expanding to a tournament stop potentially?
I mean, I agree with you. I think in the NBA there's a problem where players just they don't care night to night, day to day. So
they barely care for the regular season. What makes you think they're going to care for the All-Star?
It's a pretty long season as is. They already want to reduce it. So I just don't see the logic in adding games, especially to the All-Star break, where people kind of assume it's kind of like a break. But this is kind of going in the other direction.
Why would anybody care about that first round of the tournament in the All-Star game?
Right. Like what? That's why I asked what the incentive is.
It's almost like nobody cares about the first game. And then once the first game is done, you kind of had your fix of an All-Star game, so you don't necessarily need to watch the second one.
And why would the players care after, they've played a hard first half of the season?
Only 8 guys. That's a lot. I mean, probably shorter games. It's only 8.
Colin, and you're probably going to hate this, but get more lottery balls. Get more lottery balls for the NBA draft. That's what this league is about. It's about if you're bad, you got to be historically bad to get one of the stars high up on the lottery.
I would like to see not only a smaller roster, but less starting, like not a starting 5, maybe a 3v3.
Yeah, it needs to be something really gimmicky.
To the point.
To the point. Yeah, I don't think you're going to be able to set up a straight up game and people are going to care anymore. You're just not going to be able to incentivize it. The way they should do it is something gimmicky, maybe like this. It should be a one-night thing. I don't know. We don't have a lot of information, but that's what Shams just wrote an article about on ESPN.com if you want to go check it out. Damien's helping us out. Let's quickly get to some 5 and 5.
Number 1.
The Eagles broke open the second half and took it to the Commanders for a Thursday night football win. At 8-2 and on a 6-game winning streak, are they alone? Are they the lone actual threat to the Detroit Lions?
I think we'd have to say yes at this point. I mean, the Lions are a head and shoulders above the rest in terms of not showing cracks in the armor. But in terms of the biggest threat to them, unless you want to go to the Arizona, San Francisco, Atlanta route, they've beaten everybody in their division. I think it's got to be the Eagles. It's got to be the Eagles, right?
I think it's the Eagles. I think a couple of teams need to keep an eye on are San Francisco, Green Bay, and Arizona. I can't believe I'm saying it, but Arizona. If they continue to play well with Kyler Murray, if Murray continues to play at an MVP level, look out. But I would say San Francisco, Green Bay, Philadelphia, Arizona in that order, Colin.
Number 2.
Jake Paul and Mike Tyson are planning on fighting a modified boxing match tonight on Netflix. What does this match say about the state of boxing and who's going to win?
Sad, right?
Stupid. I'd be blown away if Jake Paul didn't win tonight. Blown away. Mike Tyson doesn't need to fight again. Jake Paul is enough of a name. Whether you want to say it's rigged or not, Jake Paul has a future with additional boxing matches and additional revenue. Him suffering a loss in a lot of ways kills the intrigue with his career. And his career is jumping around and fighting a bunch of other big name, either retired or different sport guys. Him losing would hurt that brand. And that's basically all boxing has going for it right now.
And
that's why I think I'd be blown away, whether by decision or by... I could see in the 6th round, either Tyson's going to be so gassed that he can't even get up in between rounds, or they're going to call it, or something like that. I'd be blown away if Paul didn't win this.
I know Tyson looks like he's in great shape, but I read an article the other day that I didn't know, like in one of Tyson's last fights, I forget, he got beat up by who? Do we remember Tyson's last fight? He was kind of a no-name-ish kind of guy. And they said that he had an ulcer in the fight. He was dealing with health issues. He puked blood multiple times before his last fight over 20 years ago. So, number 1, I hope that Tyson is well enough to fight.
Right.
Number 2, I wonder how much of this is fixed. Our best guess is when we talked about it earlier, it's probably fixed. I think it's sad. And I think it's sad that I look forward to watching this and seeing what it looks like tonight. I will be watching.
In June 11th of 2005, Mike Tyson retired after 6 rounds against Kevin McBride, an Irish heavyweight.
That's it.
Retired and said, I do not have the guts to be in this sport anymore. 20 years later, I guess he changed his mind. Number 3.
Number 3.
John Jones is returning to the octagon to fight Stipe Miocic this Saturday at UFC 309. Has the UFC taken the crown as the premier fighting sport in the USA?
Probably. Unfortunately, I don't think it's, like we mentioned earlier in the show, it doesn't have the ceiling that boxing does. Because I think people are fiending for a fight night.
They are.
People are fiending for like a big fight that everybody wants to talk about because it's fun. People get behind that. That's the reason that this Paul Tyson is getting some moderate amount of juice. It's just there's no fight nights nowadays.
And can I think by the way, USC, people love it. or not USC, sorry, UFC people love.
Some people love it.
My friends are obsessed with it. They watch every card. They keep up with it. Do you want to know what I think UFC is struggling with right now? They don't have a perennial star to market. Like, I was watching UFC when Conor McGregor was in there. You know, McGregor, I think, put that sport on another level. And I think his fights were a lot of fun against Nate Diaz. My cousin was at that Las Vegas fight between him and Nate Diaz. So I think UFC needs a star like Conor McGregor. They're doing just fine without one, but I feel like they would benefit from a big-time star-ish like McGregor. I'm very embarrassed I called it the USC, by the way. The Fighting Trojans getting in the octagon. Lincoln Riley.
The UFC's problem to that point, you're right. But here's the thing about that stars. Stars, their shelf life is very, very short.
Right.
Boxing, you could be a great boxer for 15, 20 years because it's a technical, skill, proficient type of combat sport. UFC, you need to be in the prime physical shape of your life. You need to be as motivated as ever. You need to be willing to put essentially your life on the line to get in mixed martial arts like this. And your prime is only a couple of years. McGregor's prime was a couple of years. It was the Aldo fight. It was the Diaz, the 3 fights there, however many he had. And then he went after Nurmagomedov. Wow. And that was sort of the end of McGregor. He was... The primes are so short, it's almost impossible to build some sort of star.
Didn't that Russian guy end on top, the one that used to wrestle bears growing up?
Yeah, Khabib? Yeah.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, Khabib was unreal. He was a star.
And he was a star, but not marketable, and you have to fight so many times in the undercards before. Your mileage is already so high by the time you even get there.
This is a WWE where...
you have the same guys for 40 years.
You know, you're not actually taking real blows.
And boxing, you could get away with that. And you can't really get away with that due to the fact that it's not as technically proficient. It's more of a strength, athleticism, and violence proficient sport as the UFC is. Let's get to number 4.
Number 4.
This coming weekend, the 7-3 Ravens go on the road to take on the 7-2 Pittsburgh Steelers. Who's going to take this one, and who's this game more of a must-win for?
Now, this is in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh has got technically a game lead because they already had their bye. But this is a tricky game now because Baltimore's probably the better team. Pittsburgh probably needs the game more. If they want to be hanging around and see if they can compete for the top of the division, they got a tough schedule. You're going to need this game. It's more important for the Steelers. I'd probably go the Ravens in this one.
Yeah, I'm right there with Colin. I agree with him. I think the Ravens win. I think it's more important for the Steelers. But can you imagine if the Steelers win this game?
The Steelers play them tough. They play them tough.
If the Steelers win this game, they're 8-2. They'd be a game and a half ahead of Baltimore. All full sail with Russell Wilson, man. Colin, you know me. I'm completely okay with admitting when I was wrong. Looked like that Russell Wilson move was the better move, man.
Yeah, and
really does.
Yeah, I'm very curious. Pittsburgh always plays them well. That's the thing.
And Lamar Jackson talked earlier in the week about how Pittsburgh has always kind of been able to contain him a little bit.
And they have.
I wonder if that's going to be more of the same. You saw them do it with Jaden Daniels, and I think that the Eagles kind of took a little bit of that playbook last night from the Steelers. So we'll see. I think this is the game of the weekend, though, outside. Maybe Bills and Chiefs is pretty good. Which one of you would you be more intrigued with, you think?
There's more implication on that Ravens-Steelers game.
Okay.
So, but the Steelers have played him well. And, Lamar, you don't know whether he's banged up or not, but they got he's playing the best football of his career right now. I think the Ravens will take this one in a tight one, but this game has 24-21 written all over it. Let's get to number 5.
Number 5.
The Pirates are releasing a Paul Skeens rookie debut card that is one of one. Whoever gets it gets 30 years of season tickets behind home plate, 2 autographed jerseys, a meet and greet with Skeens, and a variety of other experiences. Would you sell this card, or would you trade it in?
I'm taking the tickets. Tickets are mine. I'm taking it, and that's passive income for the rest of my life.
Couple $100, maybe $1,000 a pop. Yeah, give me the tickets. I don't know what this card is going to be worth on the market. Like, maybe it does become a thing where it's a long-lasting thing where, for years, people aren't going to trade this card in. Now, maybe there is a stipulation where you must turn the card in by this amount of time. Like, the rules on this thing, that their marketing team had to come up with are probably 10 pages long. But I'm interested either way to see what happens here.
That was 5 at 5 on Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Got to tell you about Hard Rock Bet. Now that we're in the second half of the season, the Commanders and the Eagles played last night on Thursday Night Football. It's time to get started on Hard Rock Bet. Don't miss out on your chance to win big wins all season. To kick off week one, you can put a parlay together. A Florida bettor in week one went 16 for 16. Pick the winner of every single week one game correct in their parlay. Turn $15 into over $100,000. How about that for a payout? How about that? Instead of trading in your card, you could actually just do it on Hard Rock Bet. It's available to you right on your phone. Go download it on the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store, or go to hardrock.bet.com. The NBA's back. So is hoops betting. There's so many different player props with that, the overs, the unders. You could do futures. You could do awards betting. Now that we're 10, 15 games into the season, you could start to get a sense of the awards races. Going to be a whole lot of value picks that you could get over on Hard Rock Bet. You can check out the new flex parlays where you don't even have to hit every leg of the parlay to get paid. If you're feeling confident, you can turn out the payouts to pay out even more for each leg. If you want a safety net, you could level out your payouts so you get more cash back if you miss a leg for two. Go check out the flex parlays on Hard Rock Bet on the website or on the app. Try it today. Get $100 back in bonus bets if that first bet does not win. Your first bet can be a parlay. It can be a prop. It can be the over. Whatever you like to bet, a future, any game you choose. You either win your first bet or get the same amount you bet back as a bonus bet. It's Hard Rock Bet, offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT. We speak with the man himself, Fat Jack of FatJackSports.com. Coming up next to get his takes on our picks of the week against the spread. See where the trends are. See where the money is. Stick around for that. Fat Jack coming up next on Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees in the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 20 national championships, including the 2024 Women's Swimming and Diving Championship and 2023 football, lacrosse, and men's swimming and diving titles. Visit KUSeahawks.com for the latest.
Make poker playing hours work for you at Harris Pompano Beach with the $1 million Break the Bank. It's a no-limit hold'em event that can make you a millionaire. Play at any qualifying table. Rack up 150 hours to qualify for the January 29th Break the Bank tournament. $250,000 in prizes to be awarded, plus win a seat at the World Series of Poker Circuit main event. Finish at number 1 for your shot to win $1 million. Play poker today at Harris Pompano Beach. Open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Powerline Road at 3rd Street, Pompano Beach. Must be 18 or older for poker and simulcast. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-888-ADMIT-IT.
The quality of our choices affects the quality of our lives. So, when it comes to how you move, do you choose to see a doctor or go to the #1 orthopedic specialist in the world, backed by a team who custom tailor your treatment? Do you choose to live with limitations or live life to the fullest by going to the place that's #1 at getting people back to what they love? Choose better, move better. Locations in West Palm Beach and Wellington. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida.
Mark your calendars and gear up for game day. This Sunday, November 17th, join Bud Light and the ESPN West Palm Street Team at Hurricane Alley in Boynton Beach. Catch all your football action with us from 1 to 3 p.m. Showcase your football skills for a chance to win some prizes. Enjoy $2 ice-cold Bud Light drafts and $3 neutrals while you cheer on your favorite teams. Must be 21 or older to participate. Southern Eagle reminds you to please drink responsibly.
Tickets are on sale now for the Cognizant Classic in the Palm Beaches. South Florida's only PGA Tour event returns to PGA National February 26th through March 2nd. Watch your favorite golfers compete on the Champions Course while enjoying a new on-site experience filled with local bites, craft cocktails, fan activities, and more. Get ready for a week to remember. Secure your tickets now at thecognizantclassic.com.
Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-FREE. Listen, if you're in an accident, car accident, truck accident, slip and fall, trip and fall, injured on the job, workers' comp issues, call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. They will fight for you. They do not get paid unless you get paid, and they will fight to get you the maximum compensation that you know that you deserve. Do not deal with the insurance companies on your own. That's impossible. They make it as such. And John Levine will help you to take back control of your life. Again, you'll always talk about your case with an actual attorney. They answer the phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to help you to take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE, 1-800-747-3733. Car accidents, truck accidents, slip and fall, trip and fall. Call Anajar Levine, my accident attorneys. Anajar Levine, accident attorneys. Take back control of your life.
Palm Beach County's premier college football event is back. Don't miss the 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, Wednesday, December 18th from FAU Stadium and broadcast live on ESPN. Last year's game saw in-state Rising Power USF beat Syracuse out of the ACC. What will this year's game have in store? Big names, big teams, big action. The 2024 Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th at FAU Stadium on ESPN. Don't miss out. Find out more at BocaRatonBowl.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Rolling on here on a Friday edition, episode 52 of Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Damian Perez helping us out behind the glass. We made our picks on Punchline Picks yesterday on the college and NFL side of things. We are all tied up throughout the season with, theoretically speaking, Theo Dorsey and Christian Catt. So we're all tied up on that end. And we got 6 games, and our lock, of course, is the Bengal game against the Chargers. But let's bring in the expert, somebody who actually knows what they're talking about comparatively to us. I'd like to welcome in Fat Jack of FatJackSports.com. Fat Jack, welcome in. What's going on?
No, actually a really, really good week in the books. Again, we're running off these things one after the other right now. We're 10-3 last weekend in football. We had UCLA on Friday night, 4-2 on Saturday. 4-1 on Sunday. That's 2 Sundays in a row we went 4-1, so 8-2 the last 2 Sundays. Had Miami on Monday night, which was a rocking chair game. You didn't have to stay up and watch it. Easy win with the Dolphins. I moved into the top 100 in the Circa event and in the Superbook event in Las Vegas with my NFL stuff. So really, really dialed in as we head into the middle of November. If you're not winning November, guys, you're not going to win. So FatJackSports.com, it's $99 for football through Monday. 169 football and basketball plays are emailed to you. They're on a personal portal. The same exact plays that everybody gets are posted and documented. 10-3 last weekend. We're going this weekend, so time to get signed up for sure if you're betting on the games.
Fat Jack, we'll start collegiately. This is a tricky weekend because there's not a lot of big-time close games. This is a lot of big spreads to take, and I wanted to get your takeaway. Let's start with the Oregon game against Wisconsin. Wisconsin coming off a bye, Oregon on the road. They're -14. We took this one. We took Oregon -14. What's your takeaway here?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. We've talked about this the last few weeks on these games that we identify as a team that can score against just about anybody, against a team that has trouble scoring against most teams. So that's what you get here. So you get a game that might be 10, turns into 14, turns into 17, turns into 21 because Wisconsin doesn't have an answer offensively when they get where they're one-dimensional. They can't drop back and run it. They can't run play action. They have to score points because the game is into double digits. So that becomes the danger to playing Wisconsin even at home. Wisconsin 8-3, their last 11 at home. So, I mean, this has not been a horrible team when they're at home, but I don't like playing teams that offensively can't score against most teams. Because when they get down, they become more predictable, which makes it harder to score. So, yeah, I'm with you. You're going to play the game, play Oregon.
Fat Jack, Tennessee and Georgia coming up this weekend. That spread's been moving a little bit. I've seen Georgia 10. I've seen 9. I've seen 9.5. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, it's definitely been bet down. It opened at 11. It's down at 9.5 range. Now, here's the thing, guys. Tennessee has not given up 20 points to anybody all year. And everybody that we talk about, these main teams that we talk about in the rankings and stuff, they all have big holes primarily in who they play. All right, so their schedule's not been, flawless. So you don't have a team that's been battle tested and passed every single test. We don't have that team right now. But if you're talking about a team with a long shot or it's a kind of a flyer going forward, in the last 4 teams that have held every opponent under 20 points this late in the season out of the SEC, every one of them have won the national championship. And you can still get Tennessee at 22-1. So I don't think they're going to win the national title, but defensively they're doing things that are not done in the SEC or, frankly, around the country this late in the season, holding everybody under 20 points. Georgia, Carson Beck is not what he was. He's cost himself a boatload of money not playing as well this year as he did last year. Should have gone pro for sure. I know he's making a lot of money in college, but he's giving money away in the pros. They are susceptible to turning the ball over. Tennessee will take it away. Super hard to cover 9 if you don't score 20. So Tennessee's going to have to give up more than 20. Otherwise, they're going to cover this number because they're going to get in the teams. Their offense has not been dynamic. Josh Heupel's offense has not been great, but defensively, they're next level good and not getting a lot of credit. So you're looking for value in this type of spot. I actually think they keep it close. It's not going to surprise me if they win straight up. There's a couple of these SEC games that for different reasons, actually 3 games involving teams that are ranked in the, on the Tuesday ranking of who's going to make the playoffs that I think could be one of these 3 are going to lose. Either Georgia, I could see Texas going to Fayetteville, Arkansas, and in a horribly flat spot, showing up, turning the ball over a couple of times, and losing there. That would not be the worst loss that a team's ever had, going to Fayetteville and losing. So I think that's a dangerous spot. And the other one's obviously the BYU team that continues to get it done, playing and you want to talk about a flat spot, coming off the Holy War, winning on the holding call, whatever. This team has to get back up for a Jayhawks team that is super undervalued right now. They early in the season giving games away in the last 3 minutes of the game, last 3 minutes of the half. But lately, and I gave them to you last week and released them in my class last week against Iowa State, we had the 9th ranked team in the country come in, and they made them look stupid. This Kansas team is trajecting the right direction at the right time. BYU, I think most people don't think this is an undefeated team by the end of the year. They just can't figure out where they're going to lose. This is as good a spot as any, so I take the Jayhawks in that one as well.
You're the guy who follows the numbers, the trends. You want to know something about theme? I'll tell you something about theme. This is one that I like. SMU, of course, number 14th ranked. They take on Boston College at home. SMU's coming off the bye. It's a 19-point spread. Boston College's starting quarterback Thomas Castellanos was benched last week and then left the program.
Fat Jackie's gone.
He's gone. Goodbye. Good riddance. Forget it. 19 points at home. SMU, the last time we saw them, they kicked the snot out of Pitt. I think this is a great play. Minus 19. What's your takeaway?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Mustangs have averaged 43 points per game their last 6 games.
And they're pissed off about their ranking, too.
Yeah, that's one of those eye tests. The committee, the one thing they've done is give motivation for teams that are having really good seasons. That people don't understand the dynamics of the rankings. You win a conference, you get to buy all those things. But you just put it up on the board, you're like, wait a minute. How is BYU getting anything? How is this team getting by and this one's up? It makes no sense, but it gives that bulletin board material for the teams like SMU that are hanging their number on just about anybody. And as you said, playing a lame duck team that's heading the wrong direction. So there's spots like that. The only problem with that would be is that Boston College's defense generally holds games down. Unbeaten teams this late in the year, they typically go under the total. They as they go forward, they play more conservative, try not to make mistakes. They're under 71, 54, and 3 to the under after week 12. So this is one of the week 12 and beyond. So this is one of those where you get a good team that generally scores a lot of points. They'll play a little more conservative, but to your point, you can't cover numbers like this if you can't score. Boston College has some big problems offensively.
Fat Jack, what are you looking at this weekend in college? You know, college and I basically both think it's kind of a dead week in college football as far as lines. What's the trend you're looking at?
So it's been one of those, if you get totals over 60, you go under. I gave that to you last week, and there aren't a ton of games that are over 60, but expect fewer points. All right, you get more film on these teams, more game planning becomes a lot more important, and you get added pressure in some of these spots. So if you're just out there, a casual guy playing $5 or $10 a game, whatever you're doing, totals over 60 go under. All right, they're 101 and 58 to the under this year. Also, SEC dogs still covering at a very high rate. So SEC, you're going to bet the game, think underdog first. SEC dogs 30 and 16 against the spread this year. Just a couple of things to look at if you're just playing darts, basically. That'll get you down the right path, at least for a couple of different things.
Fat Jack at FatJackSports.com joining us now on Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Let's shift to the NFL for a second. There's a glaring line in that Detroit Lions-Jacksonville game. Jacksonville is going to be without Tank Bigsby, without Trevor Lawrence, where they were terrible last week with Mac Jones under center. Minus 14. It's a big line, but we took the Lions here. I think the Lions need a bit of a get-right game, and the Jaguars are going into the bye. I think this is probably the last. I said this last week. I was wrong. I think this is going to be the last time we see Peterson coaching on that team. I think they've given up on him. I think this 14 is something that could be dabbled with. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, here's the deal. You've had kind of a streaky year in the NFL, so it's been favorites in the public and underdogs and the sharps in the house. So last week was an underdog week. You had 11-3 underdogs covering 11 of 14 games. They had 6 straight-up wins. The general public took a bath. Guys like me with 4-1. And so that's kind of what you have real streaky stuff. This week there's 2 or 3 games. How do you line up and walk up and play Chicago? How do you walk up and play Jacksonville? How do you walk up and play the Cowboys? These teams stink. They have no business being in the game. And to your point, when you get this year double-digit favorites in the NFL, perfect. All right, we don't always get that, but double-digit favorites, 4-0 against the spread this year, and not only 4-0 against the number, they're covering by an average of 14 points a game. So they're blowing teams out.
Oh, you like this?
Like
okay.
this. Absolutely like it. Yeah, Detroit. You're not getting 4 or 5 interceptions out of Goff. All right, he's been the most efficient dude in the league early in the season. They have got, and they're not a team that takes the foot off the gas. They don't know how to do that. They run play action. They throw the ball their backs. They do things to score points. And so when you get, even if you're not one-dimensional, you have trouble keeping up with them. And they were involved in one of these double-digit blowouts early in the year. They went like 56-7 or something early in the year. So go back and look it up. But it's a bunch to nothing. There you go. And so it's one of those spots where that's what you want. If you're going to be giving double digits in the league, you want a team that doesn't know how to take their foot off the gas against a team that has no answers with a backup quarterback and a lame-duck coach. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. Detroit's the right side of that one.
Fat Jack, we like the Bengals at the Chargers coming up on Sunday Night Football. Any thoughts on this game here?
The better play from what I'm hearing, and I don't love the game, but the better play I want to hear is the over. I've been a under machine with the Chargers all year. We made a ton of money. They're 9-2 to the under this year with Charger games. Harbaugh has neutered Justin Herbert. I mean, he's literally having his worst career numbers ever. They play it close to the vest. They don't turn it over. They win by 7 against bad teams. That's what the Chargers have been. But I'm here at Cincinnati. There are guys at 50,000 a game, 100,000 a game, big gamblers that I respect. They love the over here. They think that Cincinnati knows they're going to have to open it up. The head coach there, who, by the way, went to the same high school I did in Norman, Oklahoma, at Cincinnati, that he will be imaginative. He will run play action, throw it on early downs, and loosen up that Charger defense. When they do that, Herbert's going to have to perform. They like over the total. The line's been moving up also. Open 45, up closer to 50 now, 47, 48. So I like over for, as far as the game goes, if the Chargers are able to kind of flip that switch if they get an offensive shootout. We haven't seen that out of them. They've been able to hold teams down defensively. They've been able to play it close to the vest. Their problem is going to be not only here but going forward as we get toward the playoffs, are when they have to score, are they able to do so? Are they able to flip that switch? A lot of sharp players do not believe that's going to happen, but they'll have a better chance of at least scoring some points from behind. So they like over the total. I don't like the side. I play over as well.
Fat Jack, how about this really quick? Mike and I coach a youth basketball team, 7th through 10th graders, and we're 0-1. We had our first game on Wednesday, and we scored 0 points in the first quarter. 2 points at halftime, and we ended up losing by 10 points. What's your takeaway?
Dude, you got to hit the boards. First of all, if you're not running pick and rolls, you're missing the boat. How old are they? The 9th graders?
It's 7th through 10th graders, which is
Fat Check, and
it's a wide range of children.
Right,
yeah.
Let me give you a little more deets here. We installed the press defense. The press in the real game lasted 50 seconds, and then we also did what you said with the pick and roll. Fat Jack, it's like everything we taught. We had 3 practices with these kids. Everything that they learned from us, just they
out the window.
Completely forgot it. Just it's
like
listen.
I coached Trey Young in football. I coached Bob Stoops' kid in football, and then Trey Young's dad, who plays for the Hawks, coached my son in basketball at that exact age. And even the best players, now Trey was the exception, but even the best players in that range, when they start playing against other athletes, everything goes out the window. So it's just practice time. You're not held responsible now. But if you're rolling out that same stuff a month from now, if I come down there in December, come watch you guys get blown out, and they don't look like they know what they're doing, that starts at the top. All right, that's an E for flu. That's a Chicago Bears get the coach out of here, not a Caleb Williams problem. If you guys get them run the pick and roll and crashing the boards, you should at least be competitive after you get a few more practices, but not your fault just yet.
All right, so we got a couple weeks before this is all crumbling down on us, and we have parents within the picket lines out front of our homes, and they're going to be telling us to, hit the road. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, they play for keeps, man. I mean, they're not getting enough playing time. Their babies want to win. I mean, that's what happens. You're in the world of youth sports right now, so you got to balance it all. Tell them all right up front. Nobody here's going to the NBA, and you'll be proven a liar out of the Trae Youngs of the world.
Yeah.
You're all going to be great. Doctors, lawyers, all those type of things. None of you are going to the NBA. Let's try to have some fun and get some playing time. But, yeah, you got to start being competitive. 7th grade, 8th grade, that age, they want to at least be competitive. They want to win some games.
100%.
Ice cream doesn't do it then.
Yeah. Fat Jack, great job as always. I appreciate you joining us, giving us some insight. We'll talk next week.
$99, guys. Go get them. I'll see you soon.
That's
Thanks,
Fat Jack at FatJackSports.com. Go check it out for the best trends, best inside scoop in the area on the gambling side of things. Whoever want to put money on a little action this weekend, go to FatJackSports.com. We close out the program, send you off into the weekend, a packed slate of NFL football. We'll give our predictions next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3.
Hey, it's your boy JC. The New York Jets just managed to humiliate themselves before even playing the game. Find out on today's brand new Questionable Call with Josh Cohen, exclusively on YouTube. Subscribe now on YouTube. Questionable Call with Josh Cohen. New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
PNC Bank is committed to helping the customers and the communities they serve move forward financially. To do this, they're implementing their Community Benefits Plan that focuses on affordable home lending, small business loans, and employee volunteerism, and creating other opportunities to give back on a local level. They're proud to be a part of the South Florida community. See how PNC Bank can make a difference for you at pnc.com/our commitments. PNC Bank, National Association, member FDIC.
Banyan Printing, your trusted printing, mailing, and signage partner in the Palm Beaches for over 45 years. Banyan Printing's new metallic ink press adds that extra shine so that your product comes out in glossy gold, sparkling silver, or any other color you want to shine. Banyan Printing is the official printer of Kaiser Athletics and would love to be your official printing partner as well. Order products and learn more about what Banyan Printing can do for your business at banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most, getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation, 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Every Friday is a Fried Day on ESPN 106.3, served by Bud's Chicken and Seafood. Bud's uses better quality ingredients for better food and the best value. Visit any of Bud's Chicken and Seafood's 6 locations or go online now at budschicken.com.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
November 15th, a edition of Russo and Rizzo. On ESPN 106.3, Damian Perez, of course, helping us out behind the glass. Got a packed weekend of NFL football. Bills, Chiefs. You got Ravens, Steelers. Bengals, Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Whole lot to watch. Let's give our predictions in just a second. In the meantime, get ready to celebrate at CP Group's 9th annual tree lighting and a holiday extravaganza. That is Thursday, November 21st. Next week, 5:30 to 7:30 at the Boca Raton Innovation Campus in Boca Raton. Mike and I will be there doing our show live there. Entry is free if you bring a new unwrapped toy or make a discretionary monetary contribution to the spirit of giving donations. They will be collected at the entrance to support the nonprofit annual holiday gift drive, spreading joy to thousands of children throughout Palm Beach County. You can also get VIP tickets if you'd like for exclusive access to the hospitality tent. Just for $60, you can get a carving station, special activities. You could get an open bar. All proceeds from these sales will go and directly benefit the Junior League of Boca Raton. Secure those today. Other things that will be live and on site at the tree lighting event. There'll be meet and greets with Santa and his live reindeer. There's going to be a petting zoo featuring 20 adorable farm animals. So that is something that I am interested in. See the farm animals. Who doesn't like a little petting zoo? I wonder what it'll smell like. Be a lot of fun, but there's going to be a cash bar as well to keep the festive spirits high for those who partake.
I think you know what it'll smell like.
Smell like a farm. For those who like that, that's what you take. NFL this weekend, you got a big, finally, it's just a great slate, top to bottom. Ravens, Steelers. It seems like we're both on the side that I would edge the Steelers here.
Yep.
But the Steelers, not at the Steelers, the Ravens, but the Steelers play them tough. So from that perspective, I think that this is going to be a really tight and close game down to the wire. Would you agree with this?
I agree. And if the Steelers win this game, I think there really is something with Mike Tomlin playing Lamar Jackson. You know, I think a lot of the times when sometimes you just can't beat a team. They got your number, right? If this happens again, I think it's more than just a coincidence. So I expect them to win, though. I think Baltimore is the better team. Colin, I'm interested to see how that pass defense is going to fare against Russell Wilson. You know, they added at the deadline. So I think if they could contain Wilson and the big play, you know, what screwed, I feel like, Washington was the big play the Steelers had to Mike Williams, the big play that they had to Pickens. Like, they were giving up the big play. If Baltimore could neutralize that and Lamar and Derrick Henry continue to do what they've done all year, there's no reason the Ravens can't win this game. Agreed?
Right. They could totally win the game. The problem is they have the worst passing defense in the NFL, so we'll see how they can combat that with Pickens, Williams, 2 deep ball catchers, and a deep ball thrower like Wilson.
How about Lamar, man? 24 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
Playing the best football of his career.
2 interceptions.
Playing the best football of his career. So that's why I would probably edge the Ravens, a better offense. I think the Steelers would have a tougher time managing going back and forth with them. But going into the later slate, 4:25 kickoff, Chiefs at Bills in this one. I think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs here. I think they're going to hand them their first loss of the season. The Chiefs are due. And people can talk about this black magic or whatever deal with the devil the Chiefs made to escape all these games, but they're due for a loss. I think the Bills are going to play well here. They're probably going to be motivated. They're at home. I would take the Bills here.
I'll go devil's advocate. The Bills can't beat this team. I do think Kansas City is due. It won't shock me if they lose, but I'm going to go with the Chiefs, Colin, because that's the theme right now. They're always finding a way.
Falcons-Broncos is an interesting one, too. Broncos on a bit of a skid, lost 2 in a row. And the Falcons, on the other hand, are a team that has kind of been pesky throughout the whole thing, but has been reliant on a big-time running game where they just feed Bijan Robinson. I think that this Bronco team is, in a lot of ways, a little desperate for a win here. This is going to be a really tight game at the Mile High Stadium.
I'll go with Denver in this game because they're home, and Atlanta had a horrible loss last week.
Terrible.
Couldn't
hit a field goal.
Losing to the Saints right after they fire their head coach. I think that's spiraling a bit, similar to, to your point, what you said yesterday about Washington. I think they're going to lose a couple of games in a row here. Give me the Broncos.
One thing I like about the Falcons, if they've shown a very good ability to bounce back, and they bounced back after that terrible loss to the Seahawks, and I anticipate they bounce back after that the Chiefs loss earlier in the year. I anticipate them to bounce back once again. Give me the Falcons in this one.
It's a tough stadium to go to as well.
Indeed, and that defense will travel. So that this game also has 16-13 written all over it. Kirk Cousins, that's late game. I like it.
It's the Bo Nix game, right? 20-17, 16-13.
Underrated player. And he's going to start to get some consideration for that Rookie of the Year.
He needs some weapons. I think he needs some weapons around him. I know we're in the boat of quarterbacks making players around him better, but I trust Sean Payton. If Sean Payton likes him, I'm all in on it.
And he's a gamer. He's got a little bit of the Mayfield or Josh Allen cloth, where he'll do just about anything to try to win the game. And whether that be use his legs, whether that be active in the passing game, try to air it out deep, try to utilize that short game. It's not all going to work. It's not all going to be pretty, but it's weird. He has this capability to put them in a position to succeed, whether that be ugly or clean. And they got that great defense, too, which travels.
Colin, we need Cincinnati on Sunday Night Football.
We need Cincinnati in the worst way. You think the Cowboys would play well against the Texans on Monday Night Football?
No. I think the Cowboys have a top 10 pick next year.
Yeah, I mean, they're aiming for higher than that. Will the Bears play well?
No, I wanted to take Green Bay. Green Bay and Ohio State were my 2 games we left on the table.
Ohio State.
We're going to cover that spread.
Friday edition of Russo and Rizzo sending you off into the weekend. You got packed events all weekend with ESPN West Palm. Take a look at the ESPN West Palm socials to catch information if you want to watch some games with us on Sunday. Got high school game day coming up next. You got Atlantic playing their first game. I'll be on live in studio. It's been Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3 sending you off into Friday.
Ready to transform your life? Hexus MD's weight loss solutions are here to help you achieve a healthier, happier you.